This is long overdue, but back with another Fair Shake review. The 2020 Fall Anime Retrospect. That's what we're about to get into. About to talk about what I watched during that season, my quick thoughts about it, and also what I'm currently watching as well. Um, please forgive me if it takes me a bit to figure out the names since I'm going off of Mao and they have the Japanese names, and I'm used to seeing in the titles in English. So I'll try my best to do it quickly. But anyway, so to start off, the first thing that has popped up here on this list that I watched was Akudama Drive. This show was such a wild, wild ride. It's one of those like turn your brain off, enjoy the action kind of stuff, and try and just buy into the interesting cyberpunk kind of world it created, and just enjoy it. Also liked the slight movie references, especially like with the titles as well. To kind of like cool classic action shows and stuff like that. And all the characters were just wild. How they all have like the seven different wild personalities. They're all known for a specific thing, as they're the Akudama, the basically the most wanted people in the and I believe it was Kanto. Is it Kanto? And then everyone wants to go to I don't remember, but yeah, that whole thing was wild, and it was really fun to watch. Like, and seeing kind of like how it ended was very interesting to kind of leave it a little more open ended, a little bittersweet. But it was a fun ride if you like some action packed kind of seinen kind of action anime. But yeah, that was fun. The next one that's on the list that I watched was Talentless Nana. This here was also a very fun show. Trying to see, oh, will she get caught? Oh yeah, so spoilers. If you haven't gone past the first episode, but yeah, like seeing all the different powers and how they have to work around it to figure out, how she's going to accomplish her mission to get rid of them all, despite her disadvantages. I think it was really cool. And then to like even like somewhat towards the middle, just throw in a random trump card like, oh snap, I don't think she's gonna be able to do anything about this this person, and the fact that there's another person that's also really like difficult to deal with as well. It is it's cool. I'm really curious to see how it'll continue and what will happen next, especially since the agency that sent her might be getting involved as well. The next thing we got here is the day I became a god. I believe what is the English title. That, yeah, there it is. It's just written really small. That show was really heartwarming. I really enjoyed it. It was very cute and sad, and it gave me the feels. Like just seeing the relationship grow between the main character and the young lady. It was very good, sweet and endearing. They had a lot of really fun adventures, some that just seem completely improbable, but you don't care because like the characters are just so fun. And it touched my heart. I was like, yo, this was a really fun show. I really enjoyed it. Higurashi no Naku Koro ni, Go, I think is the end of that. Basically the third full length season of Higurashi, or When They Cry. Um, and I dropped it. It just was repeating a little bit too much of the original, like the first season of Higurashi, that I was like, this is not giving me something new and stimulating. So I dropped it. Maybe eventually I'll come back to it to see the small changes that they've made, because I did see like a few small changes that they made, but you know, being done by a new company and changing the look a bit was a little, what took some getting used to. Like, it didn't really look bad or anything, but you know, like I said, it just took some getting used to, and even though the art style changed, since the story didn't change as much, it just wasn't as engaging. It's like I just rewatched, and this is probably also the bad thing, I also just rewatched like all the previous seasons before this one to be prepared, and the fact that it's pretty much following a lot of it beat for beat, with just like some minor details changed, it was not enough for me to want to sit and watch the rest of it. So maybe later on I'll make that a binge thing to do. What is this? The Sleepy Princess thing? Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle. This show is ridiculous, mad funny, and the way that it, you know, it takes place kind of like in an RPG kind of like world, even though it's not an RPG. The way they insert little moments where it's like, oh, this is like, you can tell like where they pull up dialogue boxes and all that kind of stuff. That it was really funny, and then it's just ridiculous, all the different like video game tropes they get into, and then also just fantasy world tropes they get into, and how just mischievous the princess is. It was just fun to watch her wreak havoc as a prisoner of the demon castle, the demon lord. Yeah, that was a really fun watch. The other one that I ended up watching, that I'm still currently watching because it's currently airing still, is Yashahime, the Inuyasha sequel kind of thing, spin-off story, future storyline. So I've always been a big fan of Inuyasha. So to see them try and like create a storyline in that same universe following the descendants of the cast of Inuyasha has been very interesting. It really, I feel, carries that same vibe very well. And so, like, even when I think about it, like when I was watching, I was like, man, some of these jokes and stuff and approach to the storyline is very childish. And then I think back and I'm like, oh well, I guess a lot of it was a little bit more on that side in the original as well. But still, it's still engaging enough for me to continue watching, and I'm enjoying watching it. I am watching the sub, even though the dub is coming out as well, and it's a fun ride, and it really kind of is seeming like the new Inuyasha for the new generation. The only thing is, so far there's no real love subplot, so that's the only thing that's really separating it feel-wise from the other series. So there's that. Next up is the third season of Golden Kamuy, and I'm watching it dubbed because they only have the dub on Funimation, and it's still the great zany action that it has been before. I know some people have been turned off by their occasional use of bad CGI, but I myself kind of really enjoy the storyline enough to have a little misgivings about it. It's still been a really fun ride so far, because that is also still currently being dubbed. So I'm watching that still. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Next is Assault Lily Bouquet. This show, another cute girls doing BA things, this little magical girl kind of show. This here was mad fun. Just to say the least, mad fun. And to see the relationships as well kind of grow and see how they continue to get closer and all the different mysteries behind their kind, the lilies. It was very, very interesting. The world they created was cool, and I wouldn't mind seeing more of that world in general, even if it's with another set of lilies from other locations. But the story that they put here had some really cool action, and the cast of girls were just lovely, but there's so many. That's why I'm happy that they continue through pretty much every episode. Always mention what name they're in, what group they're with, and all that kind of stuff, because there really is a large cast of characters. But seeing their powers and the cool fight scenes was really nice to watch. So I enjoyed that quite a bit. The next show that I want to talk about here is the Gymnastics Samurai. This was really interesting, kind of a period piece, but not like super formatted. This is just more in the 90s, I think. Kind of following, I'm not 100% sure if he's a real figure, but I feel like he was. But anyway, following the later half of the career of Aragaki and his relationship he developed with oh no, what was his name? Basically the ballet dancer who showed up as a ninja instead, trying to escape his role as like basically the primo dono. I don't know what the lead dancer in the ballet company back in Europe. But anyway, seeing the different relationships and dealing with the new stage that Aragaki was in after having his heyday, and basically coming to terms with maybe he needs to have a brand new perspective on gymnastics, and taking that bit of defeat and turning it into motivation to relearn the techniques that he's mastered before, to basically do the best that he can amongst the brand new brimming generation of Olympic gymnasts. So I enjoyed it. It was really fun. There's a lot of really fun zany moments, and then also some really touching moments to see how the way he deals with his daughter, and the relationship that even the daughter had with the ninja guy whose name still escapes me. But yeah, it was really nice. Leo. So yeah, that was a really fun show to watch. Next one I want to talk about is the Hypnosis Mic. This the this junk um, was interesting for a little bit. Like I was like, oh, okay, we got a rap show, we got a rap battle show, and they just like their power is to use these hypnosis mics to handle their street battles. This is interesting. But then eventually it got less interesting and I dropped it. Maybe I'll go back and finish the rest of it. Um, but I started to get uninterested. But it was cool to hear, um, the different Japanese rap styles out there since I don't currently listen to Japanese rappers. So it was interesting to see them make a show around rap battling in such a creative way. The next show that I have here to talk about, let's see. Oh, um, D4DJ First Mix. Now, this was another music show that I was watching, and this one I actually went all the way through. And this was a 3D, like a pretty much, yeah, it's pretty much a fully 3D anime. And once you get past that, it's pretty much like an idol show, an idol in that's not a particular style of show that I watch a lot, but the whole DJ aspect of it made it worth it. And they basically had like a song in each episode, pretty much like an idol show normally does, and just like getting to know the different little DJ teams and how they grew as a group, trying out different styles, getting new pieces to the group and their passion in music. It was really fun and sweet to watch, and I just gotta say happy around, because it made me happy. It definitely made me happy to watch that show. There are a lot of really cute characters, and seeing how their relationship grows as a team and a unit, and how they even interact with the other groups in their school was fun. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And Black Clover, I've still been watching that dubbed, and that junk, I still really like it. It definitely feels like it's in a filler arc right now, but it's still an interesting filler arc while they kind of train and get ready to go against the Spade Kingdom. But it is interesting to kind of see a little bit more in the world, and how the events of the last arc are affecting all of the other citizens in the Clover Kingdom. So I think it's, even though this seems, I don't know if it is because I'm not a manga reader, even though this seems definitely like a filler arc, it's still like filling in things in a way that are kind of constructive to the world that they're in, and I'm still enjoying it quite a bit. So I'm still going to continue to watch it because I feel like the show has greatly improved since it started. And even though this isn't the most action-packed part of the show, it's still intriguing, and that's to me what matters. The next thing was also Fire Force. Still really enjoying that junk, and that's another one that I'm watching dubbed. The way they're fighting with, like, now they're just trying to find all the pillars and finding out the mysteries of how how like the things that power the world work, and how it all ties to the evangelist and the white clad and all, and the different powers, that the way they all have different fire powers, and finding the other pillars, and figuring out who is going to be the one in charge of the new pillars that are created with the Adolaburst. Like, Are they going to be part of the Avengers team? Are they going to be part of the Fire Force team? Or are they just going to be in a weird neutral sector in between? And seeing how it all ties into the way the government there is run and all that. It's really cool, and the action scenes are still really, really fun and hype. I love it. It's a great show. I don't know why I hear so many people be like, ew, Fire Force, gross. Don't like it. I like it. I do understand that one of the big turnoffs is basically one of the characters that is there almost purely for fan service, and like even the most recent episode I watched was definitely like took one half where she's like kind of one of the main focuses, and it really is just plain fan service. It was definitely a filler episode. Like the first half I thought was really cool and was like dealing with oh gosh, why am I forgetting everybody's names right now? Especially since I'm even watching it right now currently. Did I really remember his name right? Shinra and Iris. Like that first half of that episode, seeing how they're dealing with the new news about what they've learned, about the way their society is being, created and run. Seeing that half of the episode was really, really great, and then the other half was just like pure fan service. With Tamaki, the one who's just constantly like getting randomly naked. And I know that's a big turn off for a lot of people, and I understand how that could be a turn off, but the rest of the show to me is too good to be completely turned off by it. The second half of the episode with that was a little bit much, but I feel like in the previous episodes when it happened, it wasn't as bad. But that's just my personal opinion. I've still been really enjoying the show for all the other great things that the show does. Fruits Basket. Before I get into the winter 2021, Fruits Basket was also a show I was watching, and the second season here was fantastic. Still pulling at heartstrings at every turn. And like I've been saying, each time I talk about Fruits Basket in these retrospects, I'm happy that I have not actually read the manga, watched all of the original anime, because seeing all of this stuff play out has been very interesting. And also, I would not have been as shocked when that little tidbit of knowledge happened at the end of the season. I was like, I did not quite expect that. No, I did not expect that at all. And it kind of somewhat explains some of the behavior towards Toru when this bit of information is revealed. People who have watched it and watched the original probably already know what I'm talking about, but just this show to me just does a really good job of creating very interesting relationships, and seeing how everyone taking their own steps to their own personal growth are very different, valid, and also like strengthening to watch, because to see somebody come into their own is always like, it's a fantastic thing to see. So to be able to experience that journey with them is really cool. So now finally into winter 2021. Attack on Titan final season. Oh my goodness. So started off real slow. I was like, what in the world is going on? We skipped forward in time like so far, and everybody's so much older. We're in a completely different land than we've been all the past other seasons. What in the world is going on? So you start getting bits and pieces of what in the world's happening at the time that's like that season that really started, and then also filling in the gaps of some information of the past, from the opposition's perspective. So that has been very interesting. And then finally, about, I think it was 3 or 4 episodes. Was it 3 episodes? I think it was 3 episodes. Ish finally got real, like real, and I just realized that they've got this show in so many different languages, like all at the same time. That's kind of insane. All right, so actually, it's more like 5 episodes in. About 5 episodes in is when like the action finally starts, and I'm like, whoa, bro, this is insane. Like, and now I'm really like, and I'm at the point where like they finally got done with that first big battle, and so I'm really curious to see what's gonna happen next, especially with with dealing with the consequences of what happened. Oh, I am I am very, I keep on wanting to say involved, but engaged with this. I am watching this to the end because this show is amazing. It's like I was worried when it was starting out, but like how it's all finally tying together. I'm really curious how it's gonna end. Next up, The Promised Neverland. I'm also watching, and I'm enjoying this new side of that world that they created, and seeing how the young ones are surviving outside of the state. So that's been really cool. The next one, Jobless Reincarnation. I have been enjoying this quite a bit as well, and I feel like for this little isekai kind of thing, it's taking a little bit more of a serious approach, even though there's definitely some humor, because he maintains his 34-year-old mind when he gets reincarnated, and just seeing how everything works in that world, the magic system, the society, and all of the societal norms, everything like that is very, very interesting, and I'm curious where they're gonna head with it, because even though yes, he does happen to be somewhat of an overpowered young gentleman, there's still things that he still has flaws. And I think that is where it strikes a nice balance, and to see how that's going to affect him as he goes on growing in that world is going to be very fun to watch. So I'm enjoying that quite a bit. Horiyama is another show that I'm watching, a little romance show that I am loving. Like the way these relationships are all growing and how they're all getting to know each other is so cute, and I dig it. Next up is Suppose a Kid from the Last Dragon the Last Dungeon boonies moved to a starter town. This show is just ridiculous fun. It's ridiculous. It's nonsense. It's like your RPG fantasy world, and just the obliviousness of the main character, Lloyd, in this world is bonkers. It's crazy how clueless he is to how overpowered he is, and the situations that they get into in that world is just is ridiculous. Like they even already had like a really big bad, but it didn't matter because the dude's OP. But it's still really fun, and the next story arc is now starting up here, and I'm curious how it will continue to expand since we're focusing a little bit more on some of the side characters' backstories. So I'm digging that. Another show I'm watching, Escape the Infinity. Really fun action in that. It's watching a Tony Hawk downhill jam in anime form. So I'm digging that. Another show I'm watching is Bottom Tier Character Tomozaki. So another little more comedy, romance comedy, that it like shows, you know, this otaku top tier, basically Smash Bros player, trying to take life more seriously, and just seeing how he adjusts to society is has been really interesting. I'm digging it. It has not lost my attention. Kimono Jihen, dealing with different kind of like half demon like people or whatever, technically kimonos, and like all these different little folklore monsters that they end up coming across, and like Japanese folklore monsters they come across, and seeing how they deal with them in a modern society is very interesting, and it's just a fun little action mystery solving supernatural crime kind of show. Other Side Picnic though, is another show that has to deal with like a lot of older Japanese folklore, conspiracy theories, urban legend kind of things, and it's just an eerie show to watch, like just the different things that they deal with in the other side. It's very intriguing, and so how they're trying to tie it all together is what I'm really looking forward to see how they do it, and it hasn't lost me quite yet. But there are times where I'm just like, this is moving a little slow, but it's still pretty interesting so far. Eventually, I'm going to be watching Log Horizon Season 3. I just have to finish watching Season 2 because I never got to watch Season 2. So I'm about halfway through Season 2, and then I'll finally try and catch up to where we're at in Log Horizon Season 3. Then Wonder Egg Priority. This show is mad wonky. It's so weird. The world is that these people go in to try and save the person in these little dream worlds are so strange, and like it has like all of the way they have basically all the bad guys be these weird 3D monsters really shows how weird and dreamlike the worlds that they're going into are. And so I think that's pretty cool, and then just seeing how they're dealing with all of these young ones who are fighting in these dreams and dealing with such difficult traumas and dealing with them in a weird kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Symbolic way is interesting, and I'm enjoying that quite a bit. Despite my better judgment, I'm watching this second season of the Sorceress Stabber Orphan reboot. I mean, I don't know why I'm watching it, but I'm watching it. So it's still kind of a weird low, like middle low tier kind of show. I don't know why I'm watching it, but I guess just to pass the time. It's not like so bad that I'm like, yeah, I can't even try and put this on. But you know, hey, that's it. But yeah, so that's my fall 2020 retrospect and what I'm watching here in winter 2021. So we'll see, even though we're almost like halfway. Is it halfway? We're about a third. We're about a third through the winter 2021 season already. I know I'm really late to this video, but we'll see what we think of these shows later, if there's any that I end up dropping eventually. But so far, excuse me, it's been pretty dope. It has been pretty dope, and I'm happy with what I've been able to see. But yeah, tell me what you guys thought down below. Until next time, much love, peace.